Humanity is a species with amnesia. We wander through the corridors of our own history, piecing together fragments of a story we can only partially comprehend. Great stone sentinels stand watch across the globe, monuments to a past far more complex and profound than our accepted narratives allow. Who were the master astronomers who aligned the Great Pyramid with such impossible precision? What forgotten science was used to quarry and raise the megaliths of Stonehenge, their silent stones tracking celestial cycles with an unnerving accuracy? These are not mere curiosities. They are profound questions that challenge the very foundations of what we think we know about our own journey on this planet. We are told that civilization began only a few thousand years ago. We are taught that our ancestors were primitive hunter-gatherers, stumbling into agriculture and writing by a slow, linear process of evolution. Yet, the evidence on the ground tells a different story. In the highlands of Turkey, the sanctuary of Göbekli Tepe stands as a stark contradiction. Its sophisticated carvings and monumental pillars erected 6,000 years before Stonehenge. Far away, etched into the arid plains of Peru, the Nazca lines form immense geoglyphs, visible only from the sky. These are not the works of simple, primitive peoples. They are the fingerprints of a lost chapter in the human story, a chapter that mainstream academia has long been afraid to open. These anomalies are not isolated. They are part of a global pattern. We find them in the submerged ruins off the coast of Japan, in the myths of a worldwide flood that echo in hundreds of ancient cultures, and in the advanced astronomical knowledge encoded in temples from Cambodia to Mexico. It is as if a great seafaring civilization once connected the entire world, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and wonder. But who were these people? What cataclysm wiped them from the face of the earth, leaving us, their descendants, to rediscover their achievements as mysteries? These questions have haunted the fringes of archaeology for generations, waiting for a key to unlock the truth. This brings us to a small, unassuming island off the coast of Nova Scotia, an island that has guarded its own dark secret for centuries, Oak Island. For over 200 years, it has been the subject of a relentless treasure hunt, a place of tragedy, obsession, and tantalizing clues. It has drawn fortune seekers and dreamers, all convinced that a great treasure lies buried deep within its soil. But perhaps the treasure they sought was not what they imagined. Perhaps Oak Island was never about pirate gold or the crown jewels of France. Perhaps it was the final resting place of something far more valuable, the answer to all of our other questions. The legend of Oak Island began simply enough. In 1795, 3 young men discovered a depression in the ground beneath an old oak tree. As they dug, they uncovered a shaft, with layers of oak platforms placed at regular 10-foot intervals. It was a clear sign of a deliberate, man-made construction of immense scale and complexity. This was the birth of the money pit, an enigma that would consume fortunes and even lives for the next 2 centuries. Enter Rick and Marty Lagina, 2 brothers from Michigan, bound by a childhood fascination with the Oak Island curse. Their search became more than just a television show. It became a genuine scientific and historical investigation. They were no longer just looking for treasure. They were chasing the ghost of a forgotten history, a history that whispered to them from the very soil of this strange, cursed island. The year is 2025. After years of tireless effort, the Lagina team identified a massive anomaly deep beneath the surface, far below any previous excavation. It was a large, void space, shielded by a dense, unknown material that defied their drills and ground-penetrating radar. This was it, the final target. The team deployed a custom-built high-pressure boring machine designed to cut through materials harder than granite. The tension on the island was palpable. Every crew member, every historian, every scientist involved felt the weight of centuries of expectation resting on their shoulders. Was this to be another crushing disappointment, or the moment that would change everything? The drill whined, a high-pitched scream of metal against an unyielding barrier. For days, progress was measured in inches. The machine strained against a material that seemed to absorb and dissipate energy, an engineering feat in itself. The team worked in shifts, their faces etched with a mixture of exhaustion and adrenaline. They were not just drilling through rock. They were drilling through a veil of history, a barrier erected by unknown hands for an unknown purpose. Then, on the bleak afternoon of September 2nd, the moment came. There was a sudden change in pressure. The drill bit, after encountering immense resistance, broke through into open space. A collective gasp went through the war room as the monitors registered the breach. A remote camera attached to the drill assembly was carefully lowered into the darkness. At first, the screen showed nothing but swirling dust and impenetrable black. The team held its breath, their eyes glued to the flickering images. They had finally pierced the heart of the enigma, the chamber that had evaded capture for more than 220 years. As the dust began to settle, the camera's lights cut through the gloom. What they saw was not a glittering hoard of gold coins. There were no chests overflowing with jewels. The initial images revealed something far more incredible, something that defied all expectation. The camera panned across a vast cavernous space. The walls were not rough-hewn rock, but were lined with a smooth metallic substance that seemed to absorb the light. Arranged in meticulous order were rows upon rows of shelves, holding not treasure, but countless scrolls, manuscripts, strange, unfamiliar artifacts. They had not found a vault. They had found a library. The chamber was immense, a subterranean archive of staggering proportions. Its scale was almost impossible to process. It was a cathedral dedicated to knowledge, built deep within the earth. The air inside, sampled and brought to the surface, was inert, a perfectly preserved atmosphere designed to prevent decay for millennia. The team stared at the video feed in stunned silence. The sheer ambition of the structure was overwhelming. This was not the work of pirates burying loot. This was the work of a civilization with a profound understanding of engineering, chemistry, and the importance of preserving information across vast gulfs of time. The air crackled with anticipation. This was the final chamber, the heart of the mystery that had captivated the world for over 2 centuries. The treasure of Oak Island was the truth, a truth so profound it would shatter our entire understanding of the human journey. The initial exploration gave way to a meticulous international effort of recovery and analysis. Teams of linguists, archaeologists, scientists were assembled, sworn to secrecy as they began the monumental task of understanding the archive. The metallic scrolls, when carefully unrolled, revealed texts written in the same symbolic language seen on the globe. It was a complex, elegant script, a mixture of phonetic and ideographic characters. Early computational decipherment began to yield stunning results. Not just records of kings and wars, detailed scientific treatises, philosophical works, epic histories. The manuscripts described a world teeming with life and knowledge. Detailed astronomical charts mapped the precession of the equinoxes with a precision that rivals our own. Texts on genetics describing manipulation of crops and livestock in ways we're only just beginning to explore. Texts on physics harnessing zero-point energy and manipulating gravitational fields. It was the complete scientific and cultural legacy of a civilization that had reached, and perhaps even surpassed, our own level of technological and spiritual understanding. This was the knowledge that ancient myths hinted at, the magic of the gods now revealed as forgotten science. The artifacts were just as revelatory. Among them were small handheld devices that, when activated, projected 3-dimensional holographic images of star systems and complex molecular structures. There were tools made from materials that were not supposed to exist, alloys of impossible strength and astonishing lightness. The team found what appeared to be energy sources, inert crystal batteries that still held a residual charge after thousands of years. Each artifact was a piece of the puzzle, a tangible link to these astonishing people. The treasure was not the absence of gold. It was the presence of a technology and wisdom that could, really redefine our future. The sheer volume of information was staggering. The histories spoke of a global network of cities, connected by great ships that sailed the seas and other vessels that traversed the skies. They described a long period of peace and prosperity, an age of enlightenment that lasted for thousands of years. But they also told of a great warning. Their astronomers had predicted a coming cataclysm, a celestial event that would bring about a devastating shift in the Earth's crust. The archive on Oak Island, it became clear, was one of several such repositories built around the world. It was a time capsule, a message in a bottle, designed to survive the fall of their world and carry their legacy into the distant future. How does one place a monetary value on the complete history of a lost world? Insurers and art appraisers were brought in to provide a nominal figure for the public record. A conservative estimate, based on exotic materials and unparalleled craftsmanship, was placed at over $600 million. This figure, however, was a meaningless distraction, a number created for a world that still thought in terms of dollars and cents. The team on Oak Island knew the truth. The contents of the vault were beyond any price. The greatest treasure was the restoration of our collective memory. The Oak Island archive shattered that illusion. It taught us we are not the first. The knowledge in the vault was a sacred trust, a legacy carrying the responsibility to learn from the past, from their triumphs and mistakes. The find was not an end, but a beginning, a chance for humanity to finally grow up. The official announcement of the discovery sent shockwaves across the globe. Initially, it was met with disbelief and skepticism from the mainstream academic community. It sounded too much like science fiction. The evidence, however, was irrefutable. Carbon dating of organic materials found with the artifacts. They placed them firmly at over 13,000 years old. When the first deciphered passages of the manuscripts were released, skepticism began to crumble. It was replaced by awe and profound shock. Leading linguists confirmed the language's structure was authentic and incredibly complex. Geologists confirmed the globe's depiction of ancient coastlines and lost continents. Those depictions aligned with cutting-edge models of the Earth's crust during the last ice age. Top physicists and astronomers verified the scientific data encoded in the texts. They said the information was accurate, and in some cases more advanced than our own. The reaction among scientific and historical communities turned to breathless excitement. This was not just a new chapter in human history, it was a completely new book. Conferences were held, research papers were published at a frantic pace. Experts from every field grappled with the implications. Archaeologists realized countless anomalous sites around the world were not isolated mysteries. They were likely outposts or remnants of the same global civilization. The pyramids, the megalithic structures, the ancient myths, all snapped into focus as parts of a single coherent story. A new generation of historians and scientists emerged, unburdened by past dogma. They embraced the discovery as the dawn of a new renaissance in human knowledge. It was a moment of profound intellectual liberation. The impact of the Oak Island discovery rippled out from academia to touch every corner of global society. The news dominated headlines for months, capturing the public imagination in a way no event had before. It was a story that belonged to everyone, a revelation about the shared ancestry of all people on Earth. The knowledge that a highly advanced, unified global civilization had once existed fundamentally altered our perception of ourselves. Old divisions of nationality, ethnicity, religion seemed suddenly petty in the face of this new, deeper understanding of our common heritage. We were all the children of this lost world. Educational systems around the world faced an unprecedented challenge. History textbooks were rendered instantly obsolete. Curriculums had to be rewritten from the ground up, starting not with Sumeria, but with the great civilization that came before. Museums scrambled to create new exhibits. Documentaries were produced to bring this lost world to life for the public. The discovery sparked a global cultural renaissance. Art, music, literature, the beauty of their cities, the depth of their philosophy, the tragedy of their demise. It was a period of immense creativity and introspection. The revelation also had a profound spiritual impact. Connection to the cosmos, a reverence for the earth. Modern spiritual movements, indigenous belief systems. They described consciousness not as a byproduct of the brain, but as a fundamental aspect of the universe. This ancient wisdom offered new perspectives on the meaning of life and humanity's place in the universe, providing a sense of purpose and connection that many felt was missing from the modern world. Most importantly, the story of our ancestors served as a powerful cautionary tale. Their records of the Great Cataclysm were a stark reminder of nature's power and the fragility of even the most advanced civilization. Seeing their world wiped away by cosmic forces, seeing their world wiped away by geological forces, forced our own civilization to confront its vulnerabilities, climate change, asteroid impacts. The discovery fostered a new sense of global responsibility. In the end, the centuries of digging, the fortune spent, and the lives lost were all redeemed. The final secret of the money pit was not a chest of gold, but a key. It unlocked the truth of our identity. It restored our stolen legacy, revealing a past so grand and so ancient it forces us to reconsider our potential. The island has transformed. No longer for treasure hunters, it is a global center for historical and scientific research, a World Heritage Site. Oak Island is no longer just an island in Nova Scotia. It is a gateway. The final secret of Oak Island was the beginning of humanity's great awakening, the moment we started to remember who we are, Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.